Hey everybody, is that ever happened to you that you sit on a couch and you surf Netflix and Amazon movie just trying to find a movie that you really want to watch and you end up surfing for hours and you never decide on a movie to watch actually? Well, if you're that guy, then this video is for you. I'm gonna give you my 8 personal preferences of Hollywood movies that are absolutely worth your watch and you don't even have to think about if you'll be wasting your time or not. So let's start. On number 8 is Bullet Train. Bullet Train is a story about an assassin ladybug who is assigned to retrieve a suitcase from the bullet train in Japan, and soon as he enters the bullet train to retrieve the suitcase, we slowly find out that he's not the only one after the suitcase. We slowly uncover the story behind the suitcase, why all of these people are after this suitcase, and it is a humor based action comedy, a kind of humor that is done with a straight face, and it's an absolutely worth your watch. And there's never a dull moment in this movie. There's always some action going on or some humorous lines that the writers have wrote pretty nicely. Even though it's not that long, the movie is a good nice watch. And on number 7 is Asteroid City. Asteroid City is about a town, not exactly a town, but a site where an asteroid struck years ago, and there's a couple of people living around it, making it a town where there's just one local mechanic shop, one local motel, and stuff like that. And a bunch of smart kid every year comes there on asteroid day. That's the day they celebrate when the asteroid actually struck. This movie, the concept of this movie is very different. It's not, without focusing not so much on the story, but actually how it is portrayed. It is very similarly portrayed to as a play, like a stage play. At the starting of the movie, the writer comes in and it seems like he's writing the play that he's portraying in this movie. And he says it's just like a play. On the right there are mountains, on the left you see a train running around, and that's while he commentates the scene, the actual scene comes in place. And this is mostly a comedy movie. There's no action in it actual, and the writing is done so well, the humor is portrayed so good, and the acting of each and every actor is so good, portray that humor without expressing any expressions. And you have to be, well, you have to understand humor in a different way in order to enjoy this movie. But even so not, this still movie still is a good watch. And on number 6 is About Time. About Time is a romantic comedy movie about a guy who is not so confident in his looks, so that he goes out and tries blind dates, and he finds his true love through blind date. And soon after his dad calls him to his house and tells him that his life is nearing is the end, and he reveals a secret to him that changes his life. Well, not so much spoiler alert, that he says that every man in their family in the past have been able to time travel. And the whole story after that is how he manages that aspect of his life, and how he manages his personal life, and how those things affects each other. And at the end of the day, this is a light romantic comedy that you can watch anytime. And on number 5 is a movie called We Live in Time. This is another romantic comedy where there's never a dull moment. The scenes are written so perfect, and each and every scene is filled with humor. It's a story about a guy who recently is trying to find a job, and as he's doing that, he falls in love with a girl who actually hit him on the road and took him to the hospital. And he wakes up in the hospital, and I guess he falls in love on the first sight. And the girl is so passionate about cooking, and she wants to enter world championship of cooking. And the story is how their lives get entangled just because of that one incident, just because of that one accident, because the guy was just trying to get a pen across the street. And just from that one incident, the whole life of that person is changed. And it's another romantic comedy that you can watch with your friends, with your as a couple. It's a pretty light watch. I highly recommend. You can watch it anytime. And on number 4 is a movie called Spectacular Now. It's a story about a guy that is portrayed by Miles Teller, one of my favorite actor out there. The story is more like a coming of age about this guy who is in high school, and they're nearing their graduation, and this person doesn't have plan for his future. Even his girlfriend left him for somebody who has a proper plan for their future, and he's trying to understand this, like what is he gonna do, how is he gonna get into college. He sits to write an essay to get into college, but he cannot write anything because the only thing that he has done through school is drink and be reckless. But as he is trying to figure out what he's gonna do, he finds a girl who falls in love with him for who he is. And apparently, he cannot understand how a person like that can exist. And he's trying to wrap his head around it, and it shows his struggle and the girl's struggle together, and how they connect with each other. And it's a pretty awesome movie, and it's a one movie that's near and dear to my heart, as I can somewhat relate to it. And I'm pretty sure everybody watching this movie can relate to at least some part of the movie, and that's what makes this movie really great. And on number 3 is a great movie called Past Lives. Past Life is a story about a guy and a girl who met each other in childhood in their hometown in Korea, and they never spoke any word to each other as they were kids. They just saw each other. The movie shows they saw each other and they went their separate ways. And turns out years later, the girl has moved to New York and is doing pretty good, while the boy is struggling to find love. And one day he remembers her from his memories, and he tracks her down and he finds her, and he decides to go visit her in New York. And turns out the lady is already married. She's a writer now. And this movie is just pure writing. Each and every dialogue, each and every scene is set so amazingly that it pulls you in the movie. It feels like you are in the movie. Even though they are only dialogues, none of the dialogues are boring. It's always engaging. The writing is so good in this movie that still at the end of the day, the dialogues are so good that it'll surely make you cry at the end. And for the movies number 2 and 1, I was not exactly sure which one I should put on second and which one should I put on first. I feel like the second movie should go on first and the first movie should go on second, but I have my personal bias in this, so I'm gonna put Perfect Days on number second. And don't let you fool that it's on number second so it's not the greatest. It's one of the greatest movies out there. The genre of this movie is so different. There's basically no dialogue in this movie. Literally, there is only 2 or 4 lines, and that only come into play at the end of the movie that the main protagonist say. Other than that, there are few dialogues in between, but those are done by the supporting actors. This movie will change the way you look at the world. It basically trying to portray how a person from a rich family leaves the family and starts living his life in a very peaceful way. He is a toilet cleaner in Japan, Tokyo, and the movie portrays his daily routine, how he wakes up in the morning, what he does throughout the day, how he is so happy in living just a menial job like toilet cleaner. It shows how he finds peace, how he finds joy in, simplest of things. When he takes break, he has a camera with him, a retro camera, and he takes a photo in the garden every day of the sky and the leaves where he sits and eat lunch. He loves listening to music. He has a bunch of records. He listens every day to his work. He finds joy in all of these simplest things. And I feel like this movie is so much needed in today's world, because in today's day and age, everybody thinks that they need more money, they need more stuff to be happy. If they'll reach this goal, they'll be happy. But if they'll reach this goal, they'll be happy. After that, they need to reach this goal in order to make them happy. They need to have this much amount of money in order to make them happy. And here comes this movie, and it destroys all of those point of views, and it proves that doesn't matter how much money you have, how much goals you set yourself up to, you're always gonna feel empty after that. And it's truly the true essence of happiness is finding the happiness in the simplest of things, like just hearing the birds chirp while he's having his lunch, just taking a photo, listening to the records, reading a book before night. These kind of simple things he finds peace in, and he's so happy living this life that he left the riches of his past behind. And finally, on number 1 is a movie called A Man Called Otto. And this movie is really different. It's a mix of humor and writing. I feel like the writing and the screenplay is fantastic in this movie. The person Otto is portrayed by Tom Hanks, and he does a phenomenal job in acting and portraying that character. And this character Otto is like a grumpy old man, like the grumpy old people we saw growing up. It's the exact that character, but the story goes into how he becomes that grumpy person. Why does he not like everybody around him? Why is he so strict? Why he likes to do things in a perfect manner? The story goes a bit in flashback, and then in present, and then flashback, then in present, as this person Otto is trying to take his life. As he's old, his wife died, and he doesn't have any meaning to live in this life. And soon his life changes when a neighbor across his house moves in, and yeah, the story shows how it changes his life. This movie is on number one because I can somewhat relate to it. I am somebody of a person who likes to do things in a perfect manner. I am a little bit of antisocial, and I don't like huge gatherings. I'm an introvert, so I can really relate to that character Otto. And I feel like if you are somewhat of an introvert, you're really gonna love this movie. And yeah, that's about it. Those are my top 8 picks, and this is a part 1. If you guys really like, I will make a part 2 as well. And please hit the like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't. I have a lot of other kind of videos, a lot of AI gaming videos. I'm trying a lot of different things, and if you like any of the kind of videos, please hit subscribe and hit like. If you think any of your friends would need these recommendations, and they spend a lot of time just surfing the internet trying to find a perfect movie to watch, please do share this video with them. Peace.